Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of Key Conversations with Amanda Goff. The whole purpose of these conversations is that I can share the amazing people that I come across each day in my business journey with more people through the digital portal of the digital world. I share them with my personal sphere and connect people locally. But you know what? I want to do more than that. So I'm very excited to have you here tuning in, and I'm very excited to have a very new full-time entrepreneur, Kyria McGill, as her company is CLM Solutions, and she is the gurus of all things HR and has a huge experiential background in HR, working for other organizations. And now as she is taking that knowledge and she is helping business owners and other entrepreneurs really wrangle what that looks like so that they can have the foundation or pull things back so that they can actually be on track with their company when it comes to all of those HR legalese, systemy things that none of us want to have to think about. But you love it, right, Kyria?
I do. I've been doing this for quite some time, and it's definitely something you have to have a passion for.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit about who you are, and then we'll get started on your topic for today.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for having me. I am a mom of 3 amazing children, first and foremost, wife to a amazing man. And my background is HR, obviously, and it's not something anyone chooses to go into. I originally was going to be a teacher, so it does work together quite a bit. I've been doing HR for over 20 years and from a variety of industries, people, size companies, you name it. I've done just about all different types of HR. The company started in 2011, and it was truly just to help people I already knew that just wanted a little bit of advice, a little bit of help here and there, and it's been going along just fine with that. About a week ago, I decided to take this full time, so we're gonna be out there. We're gonna be helping everybody.
Woo! Hey. So you are going to talk about some great tips. 3 top tips of how business owners really need to dial into HR for their brand and their business so that they are not kind of like going off rogue into the wilderness without some kind of plan and thought process. So let's chat a little bit about that. So how can the average business owner even implement, or why should they even implement HR, especially if they don't really have employees or if they're not there yet?
So the best time to actually start thinking about it is before you have employees. So the couple things that I like to focus on, number one is culture. So as a business owner, we all have a vision and a dream of what our business is going to be like, whether it's going to be uber professional, very creative, inspired, what you want people to feel when they come to work for you. So that's the first place that I work with is let's make sure we're talking about the right culture. And that will affect everything from how you hire to what policies you put into place to your expectations. The second piece is the vision. Where do you want your company to go? What is your thought process? Do you want world domination, or do you just like your little corner of the world as your stomping ground? And then the last one is really engagement and the engagement of your employees. So people struggle with change. This is why I say it's better to do this prior to bringing on any employees, because you are going to set those expectations as soon as people join your team. As a business owner, moving to bringing in employees is a pretty scary piece. You've now suddenly got responsibility for more people other than yourself. Most people, that's a good thing. It means you're growing. But if you only want to grow just a little bit, we change and tailor how you do that so that it's on your timeline. So those are the 3 basic requirements that I look at to know how to get you going. So we need to make sure we understand the culture. We need to make sure we understand the vision, and we need to make sure we understand the engagement you want from your team.
Okay, so we'll kind of break it down a little bit because I have some questions, and I'm sure those watching do. When it comes to culture, I know there's a lot of things you do have to be cautious of. However, if you maybe have a factory or a warehouse, there's definitely a different culture and things that are acceptable within that realm than maybe a dentist office.
Right.
But maybe that dentist office is a little bit rock and roll and a little crazy, and they want to have a zany kind of culture within that. Is that something that you have to really focus in on, like legalities, or is it kind of, you get to choose and you get to go down that path?
So we always want to keep everyone, first of all, safe at their job, no matter what the job is. So first is safety, then is legal, because as a business owner, you just don't want to tread on anything that could possibly lead to any kind of legal risk. So we want to keep risk low. But really, it doesn't matter what industry. It could be a warehouse to a dentist office, where you can create a culture that is built on education, for example, that has a society type give back. So you all work together for that. And more employees are now looking for that type of added piece to it. They can go anywhere and build a widget, but are they going to enjoy it while they're there? Is it going to be a culture that really promotes everyone working together and a team atmosphere, or is it everyone for themselves? So really, that can be built in. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that we're all going to be running on roller skates wherever we're going, or these kinds of things. And there are offices that is an acceptable practice. I don't know about the safety aspects of it, but you have that. And people think of things like Google, who has their free times and their basketball hoops in there and their food all the time. And you can do those kinds of things, keeping that legal risk down. We still have to make money. We still have to actually produce. So it's a balance. But yeah, you can create a culture of any real true type within those guidelines.
Awesome. So next, you were saying vision. What would be one action item that someone watching today could put that into place for their business if they're like, wow, vision, what are you talking about? What could they do so they can start wrangling that in?
So there's a couple different ways we can look at vision. We can look at what is your product or your service, and what do you envision the impact on the people around you or that are using that product and service. I focus a little bit more on what is your vision for the next 2 to 5 years. People talk about, I have a 10-year or a 20-year plan, which is amazing, and you need that. But really, the impact more immediate is that 2 to 5 years, because it will take time to bring employees on. It will take time to train and retain those employees. Employees, believe it or not, are our most expensive asset. A lot of times we can't do our business without them. So we want to make sure that we're putting into it and getting out of it what we need. So the vision is, what do you see your employees doing? What do you see the workload? And what do you see as, here's in 2 years, I want to have 5 employees. And in 5 years, I want to have 15. And then you start building from there. So you make sure that the structure is there underneath to support them.
Okay, so then how do you take those two things and kind of dovetail it into the very last point that you had for where we need to go as a business owner for HR?
So the biggest thing that you're hearing nowadays is, one, people don't leave a position because of pay. It's actually usually in the top, barely makes the top 5 as to why people leave a position. They leave a position because they're not engaged. They're not part of the culture or the vision that whomever the leadership of the organization is. They just don't feel included in that. So engagement is huge. Right now, one of the biggest things is education, opportunities to learn new things. People want everything as instant as they can. I mean, this is a great example. We're sitting talking and having a conversation that we're nowhere near each other. And so the information is shared so quickly they expect that same type of motivation when they're working. So keeping them engaged, giving them opportunities to try new things, look at like social responsibility, look at events that they do. And again, these aren't necessarily at a cost to an employer or an organization. There's so many things like this that are at no cost, but the return is huge in that retention, engagement, and more engaged, they're more productive.
Absolutely, absolutely. Having been in corporate world myself, having started there while I was building my business, the last corporation I worked for, that was a really important thing was, we would have every quarter, we would have some kind of a happy hour social, and we would have, there was ping pong and pool, and, there was a lot of opportunity to develop relationships and develop that culture. And it was something I really valued because we were all accountable for getting our work done. However, it was within a package where we had some fluidity of being ourselves and I guess giving back to the company, and the company kind of giving back to us at the same time, and then encouraging us to have balanced lives. So yeah, I think that's something that as a small business owner, you kind of go, well, how do I implement all this? But I think if, like you said, you start before you ever even have employees, even if that's, 5 years down the road, it's here, and maybe outlined of like where you want to go with that. It really can make a huge difference so that when you get to that point, you're not going, oh, what do I do?
The other piece to it is the cost of it. So there is a cost associated with becoming an employer. You have to build certain things. And if you do those little by little, the cost is set over time as well, as opposed to telling me, hey, we need to do this, and we have a month before my first employee starts.
Right.
And unfortunately, that happens. People grow faster than they anticipate, which is amazing, but it creates new challenges.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Great. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us, because it is something that I know myself, and we've had a little bit of conversation, but I'm curious, and definitely we'll be chatting more outside of this, because my goal is to have at least 1 or 2 employees at some point in the next 5 years. And I'd much rather be prepared than like you said, going, I gotta do this in a week, help. So if someone out there is watching and is interested in connecting with you, how can they get a hold of you so that they can find out more about what you are doing and how they can work with you?
So you can check out our website at clmsimplesolutions.com. We've also got Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or you can just message me, and it's McGill at clmsimplesolutions.com.
Awesome. And I will be including in the description contact information. I had a little birdie tell me you have some membership options that are going to be coming up to kind of help people with that cost, kind of spread it out so that it's digestible. So we will have that information as well available, and I'm sure that's it will be on your website. So yes, check it out. Connect with Kyria and her team and find out how you can get your business on track so that you can kind of have this little HR piece that like none of us want to think about, and let them take care of it because they love to do it and the rest of us don't. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Kyria, for coming on here and fighting some of the technical difficulties as we got on. And stay tuned for the next episode. We always drop the first Thursday of the month, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.